Hey everyone, welcome to this week's edition of the Dadliness. I want to pick up where I left off last week talking about heroic fatherhood. In Before I kind of go on that path, I just wanted to say, I really want to encourage you guys, especially you dads. Like if you find that you are not surrounded by other men that inspire you to be a better dad, that inspire you to be a better father, husband, man. I really want to encourage you to try and find men who fill that role. I've been so blessed because I've been able to both have, my dad, my father-in-law, and a lot of other kind of older male figures that have just set incredible examples to me of what it means to be a dad and a husband. Um, and then just like throughout, especially my time since I've been married, I've met some just incredible men, some my age, some older, some younger, that have just really set examples of what it really means to be a husband, a father, a man. Um, and so it's kind of I pull a lot of these experiences from talks I've had with people, from my experiences and stuff. And I hope it's helping. That's really, when it comes down to it, like I hope that these videos are helpful to you guys, because I feel like there's so much negativity, there's so many examples of what not to be, but not a whole lot of examples of what to be. Um, so with that being said, I wanted to continue talking about heroic fatherhood, um, especially dying to self. You know, when we get married and we um, you know profess our vows and we say, until death do us part, and um, little do we know that death is coming a lot quicker. No, I'm kidding. But like there's so many times where we as husbands, um, and fathers, it's like we go to work and we work all day and we come home and we're tired, whatever. We have all those frustrations, and I say the best men, the best examples that I've seen are able to take those frustrations, to take that exhaustion, and somehow just leave it at the door. And they go inside, and it's like they just like it's a brand new day almost. And so, what I want to encourage you guys to do, if you don't already, is um, when you walk in that door, try to put into context what your wife may have gone through that day. Um, Take that dose of self-sacrifice, um, and you know if you come home and, like, for me, one of the struggles that I have sometimes is, I'll come home from work and I'll, be hoping and kind of expecting that, um, that my wife will, just be there, throwing herself in my arms and ask me how my day was, and she does it a lot. Like she, this is not a complaining thing at all, but there's some times where she's just overwhelmed. Like the kids are going crazy. It was a long whatever, and I'll admit that a lot of times, like when that happens, like I'll walk in and get really disappointed until I kind of stop and I'm like, wait a second, like, well, what kind of day did she have? Like, I know what kind of day I have. What kind of day did she have? And something that I've noticed, the more that I do this, the more I try to put in a context, not so much my day, not being, rather than being like indignant at not being paid attention to, but rather to pay more attention to my wife and say, okay, so, what happened in her day? Like, honey, how was your day? What happened? How are the kids? Whatever. And you start asking those, not those yes no questions. And I say, like, don't ask yes no questions, ask open-ended questions. Asking those open-ended questions where she will start talking to you and listen. Sometimes I'll find myself like on my phone, and she'll start talking to me, and I consciously put the phone down because I want her to know that I'm fully paying attention to her. And so, take that time to really, truly pay attention to what is going on in her life while you're at work. Um, because, if she works, you know, same thing. It's just apply to stay-at-home moms, but just to wives in general. And then that also plays into the kids because, let's say you get home and the kids are going nuts. And I know for me, like, it's just natural to want to react to that and be like, well, what the heck? Like, why are you guys going crazy? Um, but figure out what happened in their day, like what happened in their lives, and a lot of you probably do this already, and that's awesome. But I just find that there's that temptation to come home and want to like take a load off and relax, and a lot of times I'm able to do that, but sometimes like you gotta strap on and man up and just go in there ready to go, and ready to just forget about whatever frustrations you had that day, whatever trials you had that day, and just really listen. And that doesn't mean that you have to like just not ever bring up any issue that you're having. It doesn't mean like bottling everything up, but like if you're having a bad day, your wife could be having a bad day too. And then, if you both just focus on the fact that you both had bad days, then they're just going to keep getting worse. But if you as the man, like if you stop and you leave your bad day at the door and you say, you know what, I'm just going to be there for my wife. I'm just going to be there for my kids. I think you'll be really amazed at the results. And it's not going to happen like after the first time. But slowly and surely, if you come in and you care about them and you die to yourself when you walk in that front door and you say, I'm not here for me, I'm here for them. And you remind yourself of that and you take steps to live that out. I'm convinced that will really help, especially with your wife. So if you have disagreements, arguments with your wife, put into context where she's coming from. And we can go into love languages another day. That's one thing that I think is really important. But at the very core, like, stop and think about what she's been through that day. And then really listen. Just let her get it all out. And even if she doesn't say like, well, honey, how was your day? Let her get it all out. And I guarantee you there will be some point where, it may not be that day, it may not be the next day, but like there will be some point where she starts noticing that. And then she'll start kind of giving that back to you too. Again, it's not going to happen overnight, but take those steps. And it's not just going to help you and your wife, but it's going to help you and your kids too. So I hope this helps. I hope this is encouraging for you. Again, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, any suggestions, any feedback, any experiences that you've had, let me know in the comments section. If you like this, please subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful and blessed night. Bye.